Welcome to the Austin All Day podcast. I'm Jason Powers, and from the Hotel Granduca, we are here with Executive Chef Miguel Ortiz and Director of Sales and Marketing, Ray DeJohn. If you guys have not been to the Hotel Granduca, take this opportunity to go check out the view and enjoy the beautiful, authentic Italian interior. Grab a bite to eat and a drink and take 10% off. Just mention Austin All Day. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, support the podcast on Patreon, and sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. So we're here, Chef Miguel Ortiz, Hotel Granduca.
How are you?
And Ray DeJohn.
That's correct, yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, however you want to say it. It said how it's spelled.
Yes, DeJohn.
Yeah.
Sales and marketing,
correct.
which this is a first for the podcast.
Oh,
Typically,
I'm honored.
Typically, it's chefs or culinary teachers strictly, but it's not. There's no limits here.
Well, I'm happy to break the mold, but
Yes.
I do love food, so I
Yeah.
can chime in, hopefully, when
Yeah,
you're not
Ray's
talking about technique.
extremely integral in our operation as far as
I'm
getting our groups.
very happy you've joined us here today.
I'm very happy to be here. Thanks.
So, Hotel Granduca 360.
Yeah.
You guys, what? 1 year?
No, it's almost 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
4 years, because I had a friend of mine say, I just heard of them last year. They just popped on the map. I said, well, I think they're pretty new.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, the way the hotel business is rolling here in Austin, you're only new for a second, and then the new thing comes on. So you know all the expansion that's happening. So
Wildfire right here.
So we came on November 2015, and immediately thereafter you had the Van Zandt opening. And so there's just a glut of information. And when you're not directly downtown, it's just, and you're not a huge brand, you got to work to continue to drive that messaging. So over the years, the past couple of years, I've been with the hotel since before it opened. We're hearing, I haven't seen this building, I haven't noticed you guys, that sort of thing. And our goal is to continually break at that perception so that people know where we are and what we're doing.
Definitely. And it's in like a beautiful location.
Absolutely, yeah. It's Westlake, 8 miles outside of downtown. We always say, if you want to escape the madness of downtown, still have a good night's sleep, but be close enough to get to the action. It's perfect marriage.
That's
Which
one
who
of the
wouldn't?
that's one of the benefits of the hotel as well, is that a lot of the Westlake folks that are local come in and they have a lot of their lunches, or like the Westlake Ladies Chamber of Commerce comes in. So
See,
a lot of our
that's
businesses,
beautiful.
a lot of our businesses are based on that local clientele, as opposed to like if you're downtown, it's a bunch of people that are in for a convention or whatnot, where we have that as well. But we also have a good local following in addition to that.
And what I would say, too, is that we're the only true full-service hotel product in the area. So you've got a resort, 5 miles away. You've got another hotel about 10 miles in Bee Cave. But for that community, for that area, we provided a full-service hotel with banquet facilities for weddings, and then not to mention Visconti and what chefs do in the restaurant. And the bar is great, too. Happy hour every day, live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So you guys get in a lot of local traffic there?
I think definitely for
Absolutely.
happy hour, yeah.
Yeah.
In hotels, and I think when you had on the chef from the Hyatt, he kind of glossed over this as well.
Sure.
Breakfast
Chef
is kind
Reese.
of yes, Chef Reese. Yeah. So breakfast is a capture with the guests that you have in house for the most part, right?
Right, yeah.
And so people are doing their business and that sort of thing at breakfast, and then lunch and dinner and happy hour become kind of your local fare. And so the idea is, especially with our lunch menu, we want to make sure that we're bringing people up the hill to come have lunch with us. We've got a great business lunch. It's 2 courses that Chef created so that we can be another option outside of County Line or the Grove or Jack Allen's, which is right in the area.
Or now Sway, we were just talking
as well.
about.
Absolutely.
And the holidays are awesome also, because a lot of these locals, when they have their families come in town, our hotel is the go-to for that. And then we have a Christmas tree lighting where they all come out for that as well, in addition to our hotel guests.
Yeah, and it's December 3rd this year. It's a local event. It's really, really great.
Very cool. The Westlake is not known for the food. So it's great that the Hotel Granduca offers something, that instead of going downtown, just that whole idea of getting away is perfect.
Absolutely, and the inspiration and chef, chime in whenever you want.
Yep. It should be known for its food.
Exactly.
So our hotel is Italian themed, and the owners are Italian as well. It's the Berlini family, awesome folks. Like I said, very personable.
Yeah.
Go out of the way to tell you thank you and everything. But a lot of times when people are booking groups with us, we want them to know that we're able to do much more than just the Italian theme.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been 20 years in the business, New York City and Colorado, all over the map for the past 20 years. So if there's somebody that wants an Indian wedding or a Chinese wedding or Cuban or Puerto Rican wedding, we're able to execute those type of things. And
so do you guys get that?
Gradually, more and more, yes.
Okay,
since
cool.
we redid the new banquet menu this past year.
I would say with Chef Miguel coming on, and he's been on for just about a year, it really changed our perception and the public's perception of what it is we can do. So it's not just the Italian menus. It's not just the stock banquet menu. Chef Miguel's come on and been extremely creative. And it's kind of, I've seen a few chefs come through over the last couple of years. And what Miguel brings is kind of the total package of culinary prowess, being able to talk to tables, being able to talk to interdepartmentally so we can make a plan and have events and work with clients.
Sure.
It's really been a blessing having Miguel with us for the last year because he's created these great things for us.
Absolutely. Sure. I'm not just an Italian chef. I'm a chef. So we're able to execute anything that a guest desires.
A chef as far as food goes, but also as far as being able to be personable with people. That is a big part of being, especially an executive chef.
And also in a hotel, we're not just a restaurant existing on itself. We have 194 rooms of people coming in and out for different reasons. And to be able to speak to the hotel process in addition to the restaurant process is something. Obviously, you have chefs that have been with hotel companies for 20, 30 years.
Right.
And Chef Miguel has done a lot of that with hotels, so he knows, he has the prowess, he understands what it is we're trying to do as a total hotel, not just the restaurant. You can't exist in a silo in a hotel.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with the experience in like golf clubs and golf courses and stuff like that, we try and emulate to our folks and our cooks and our young chefs never to say no to a guest. So if somebody wants something that's not on the menu and it's just totally off the wall, they're learning how to do that for the guest.
Right. Instead of giving them...
Absolutely. We should never say no to anything. Yeah.
That's great to learn. I mean, especially because you can't be in a position like yourself without that quality.
Absolutely. And it's like a real life chop for these guys. I mean, that's the reality of it, not like what you see on TV where it's planned out and stuff like that. Or
the mise en place magically appeared.
Yeah. I've known a few of those guys. So.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be beautiful, though.
Yeah, it would be.
It just drops down out of the sky and...
How convenient, right?
Yeah, right. Well, that'll be the day.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So, Chef Miguel, a year in at Hotel Granduca, what led you to get over there?
Actually, it's a phenomenal property. I had just finished opening a different property in, I was working in Horseshoe Bay, but I was opening a property
Golf club?
Westlake?
Oh, it was Westlake.
I'm sorry.
Lakeway. There it is.
But I got a phone call when I was done with that and was told that there was an opening here.
So you were close by?
I was close by. And I was asked if I was interested in the position, and they told me, or we had made an agreement like that if I offered such and such, that I would start the next day, and they ended up accepting. So I was working both properties for a 2-month period.
It was kind of a crazy time.
I was always sweating.
Yeah. It was kind of funny, actually. I saw his resume across our general manager's desk when they were in the interview process, and I noticed that his address on his resume was the exact address in the apartments that I was staying while my house was being built.
Oh, really?
And so,
how funny is that?
Yeah, we were in Lakeway, and I have a house now over by Spicewood, like right across from the apartment building.
Nice
but while that was being built, it was a beautiful area and good school district, which is important.
Very.
But his first day, I'm like, "Are you living at Mansions at Lakeway, man?" He's like, "No, I moved out a little while ago." I was like, "Oh," because I was going to say probably see each other putting out our garbage or something.
Small world, right?
Yeah,
it is. It is a very small world. I bump into people that I worked with in every state, like depending on where you're at, either people that you've worked with in the past or else people that have worked with the other people that you work with.
Sure.
That's what I try and get to my young chefs and cooks as well, is that you never want to burn bridges because it is a very small world.
That's very good advice. And how, I was going to ask when you were talking about like venturing into different cuisines with like banquets and stuff or weddings or whatnot. How's your crew? How are they?
My crew is phenomenal. I have a lot of very young, eager chefs and cooks. We're getting a few from the Escoffier School here in town.
Sure, yeah.
And they're phenomenal. They're very eager to work and to learn. And it's not quite like getting a kid from the CIA where they have that ego and they're already anticipating opening up their own restaurant and they've just gotten out of school.
Yeah, because they're all secret agents. They're trained to be secret agents. Right. Oh, that's CIA. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, these kids are phenomenal. They're very eager to learn and very hardworking.
Yeah, it's very important to pay your dues. And
Absolutely.
not skip ahead and take the first executive position you can find because you'll be way over your head without the experience.
Yeah, and it's not only that, like a lot of the age group now, not these kids, but like a lot of the age group, they're not used to working the 10 or 15-hour days that we grew up doing.
Yeah. And how's that over there? Are you guys implementing longer hours, or are you guys with the...
For the hourly staff, they're still between 8 to 10 hours. Management, it's a minimum of 50 hours, but often 70 hours. But
Sure.
It's a good work environment and a pleasurable place to be, so it's not bad at all.
You mean you're not throwing pots in the back of the kitchen?
Absolutely not.
Haven't seen it yet.
Haven't seen it yet. No.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's a good thing. Have you worked for anybody who's ever done that too?
I have. When I was working in New York City, I'd come from Texas, and I was always taught you pour a little bit of heavy cream into risotto, and that's not traditional. It would just fortify it, make it a little bit more rich.
Oh, okay.
So my chef in New York had seen me about to pour the cream inside the pot and literally pushed me to the ground. Like 1 second I was pouring cream, next second I was looking up at the ceiling.
Oh, goodness.
And he was like, "Yeah, get up. What are you going to do? Who's going to believe you?"
Yeah. Wow.
So that's one of those things where you learn to bite your tongue and you teach your staff about it later.
And there you go. So
there you
you're
go.
taking this, and you got a good crew that you're
Absolutely.
not pushing over.
Yeah. You know what not to do from what you learned in the past. So
Sure. So, and what led you to? You opened Hotel Granduca.
I did. Yeah, I actually I came from New York as well, in the hotel business.
we were there at the same time, actually.
Yeah, I know. Paths never crossed though. Weird.
Yeah.
Funny story. Marriott Marquis was always one of my favorite places to just go get some air conditioning and relax when I was walking around Times Square or in that
And
area.
you were
too.
over there.
I was working there. Yeah, I did.
I've been
MTV
doing
Music
that.
Awards, all that stuff.
You know, I'm from New Jersey originally, so anytime I'd go to New York City to see a Broadway show or something, I'd always wind up at Marriott Marquis, riding the elevators that you could see outside.
Yeah.
But when I started, I came back to the city. I was living in LA for a little while. Came back to the city in 2008 and started in hotels. I was working for Morgan's Hotel Group. Started at the bottom, front desk, bell, right at the beginning of the recession. And so it was a tough environment.
In New York,
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it's a lot different than maybe the recession was here,
I think,
although I
yeah.
wasn't
Oh, yeah.
here.
I think Austin, and just because my wife's family's from here and we visited a bunch, and so I was able to take their temperature on it. They didn't see half of what we saw up there. And we were the first ones to get it. We were also one of the first ones to recover, which was nice. But starting in the hotel business there, the largest account for the hotel I was working at was Lehman Brothers.
Okay.
And it was gone. It evaporated. I think I started October 13th, and what was it? A week later, just didn't exist anymore.
It's rough.
Yeah. So
It was a rough time.
almost like 9/11 when
well,
everything
there was a total hiring freeze in the company, and I was still at the bottom of the barrel at that point. But I had worked my way up over the years in the company to be an events manager, conference service manager, and then eventually started in sales. But it was time to move. I was from the East Coast. I was getting tired, and I love New York City. I just came back from there vacationing. It's the greatest city in the world, but it was just time for a change. And my wife was pregnant, and we just knew it was time. So I came here just about 5 years ago, before the hotel, around the time the hotel broke ground.
Okay.
And always had my eye on it, but never there was never an opportunity. So I worked downtown for a year at the DoubleTree by the Capitol.
Okay, yeah.
Great team there, great property. It was wonderful, but as soon as something came up for Granduca, I applied for it, had a couple of interviews, and was hired as the business travel sales manager. So going to companies, creating accounts essentially.
Right.
And after about a year and a half, I was promoted to director, and so then I oversaw the team, but still carrying on the accounts that I have.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been with it since we opened November 2015. I've been with it since July 2015.
And how do you like the current position?
Oh, it's an amazing opportunity. It really is, and I get to I get to do something I kind of always wanted. You know, it's hard when you are in the hotel business. For me, I always need a story to tell, and that's how I kind of grew up in the hotel business. Morgan's Hotel Group was the original boutique hotel property. Everybody throws that word around now.
Sure.
But Morgan's Hotel on 37th and Madison, which is now going to be condos, unfortunately. But the story behind it is that it's a full-service hotel, but it's a boutique. You didn't have a sign on the door. People knew where to find you.
Right.
And, it was opened by the proprietors of Studio 54, Steve Ribelli and Schrager.
Okay, yeah.
And so when they were asked, you say boutique hotel back in like 84, what does that mean exactly? And they said, when you go shopping, you go to a department store like Macy's, or equating that to your big box hotels. Well, this is like that little boutique on Madison Avenue. We can take care of all your needs. We can make sure that you have everything you need, and we can be discreet and make sure it's specialized and about you. And so that's how I grew up in the hotel business, telling that story. So what the experience in a larger chain or a big box hotel has never been my forte.
Yeah.
This hotel has a story to tell.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
And so it has it's influence from the 16th century. The family, the Borlenghi family, talks about the story of the Granduca of Monfalito.
What's the story? I mean, can
So
you guys get into it?
yeah, sure. The Granduca of Monfalito, he married rich. He fought a war, inherited a palace essentially in the 16th century. It was a regal entity essentially, and so the way the hotel is built, and when you see it, you're the guest of the Grand Duke, right?
Right.
But we want to present that as being comfort and relaxation as opposed to being pretentious like a castle. So this is your own little piece of castle. We want you to feel at home, but we don't want to be pretentious about it. We're still in Austin. You know what I mean? So it's not white glove, but it's about kind of wrapping you up in a big hug. I always say we want to be a big hug to the Westlake community and be welcoming to those people to come in and have a drink, or come in and have brunch on Sundays with us too. So that story, the 1,600 pieces of original artwork throughout the hotel, none of them repeat. The family put them up almost by themselves,
Not only that, going back on to what Ray said, we get a lot of guest feedback and stuff like that, and we have people say, "Oh, the fake Italian artifacts." The stuff in our hotel is real.
All of it.
The owners took it out of their time to go and purchase all these items and have them imported and put up. Cool. And it's funny to hear people think that we're hanging up like I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Target style prints and stuff like
it's
that.
Borderline insulting when you see especially when you started with the hotel and you saw the family like moving furniture before we were open,
treating it like it's
flowers.
their own home. They still do.
And this
that's cool.
Mr. Borlenghi, Mr. Giorgio Borlenghi, he's from Milan originally. He lives in Houston now, but he's from Milan. He's from Italy, so his wife's from Italy as well, and so. These design features are authentic. We have hand-painted ceilings. The guy was on the scaffolding painting the ceiling. It took him 6 weeks to paint the ceiling in the ballroom.
Anyone listening now who hasn't been to Hotel Granduca, you do not have to be a guest.
No.
You can go in and experience this, check out everything, go meet Chef Miguel.
Absolutely. Come by for a drink. We have kind of an Austin-inspired part of our menu and an Italian-inspired part of our menu for our cocktail menu.
Sure.
And so we have some of our signature drinks, like the Smoky Old Fashioned, is fantastic. We've had that since almost day one.
Sounds good.
They smoke it up with the wood chips and everything as well.
Nice.
But I'm always a fan of the Negroni Milano, because that's an authentic Italian drink that you can sip and chill out, and it's a great summer drink.
Okay.
So you just come have a drink with us, sit in the lobby for a little while, sit outside, sit in the game room, play some pool. It's a gathering place for the neighborhood, in addition to being a great hotel.
Yeah, and not only that, inside the Italian restaurant, it's not just like any other Italian restaurant, which I think that here we're used to more of a Southern Italian type food. If you want to get like genuine, authentically Northern Italian food, this is the place to go. I mean,
what are we getting when we're getting that?
We
as opposed to the Southern.
Scratch Kitchen, the flavors are a little bit lighter. It's not as heavy as Southern Italian, like when you go to Carmine's or whatever in New York or Vegas, where it's huge portions for a family of four.
My wife used to work there. So.
Yeah. Northern Italian is a little bit lighter in flavor. It's still full of flavor, but lighter in portion-wise and as far as cooking and stuff like that.
I would say, too, that the Borlenghis kind of judge their chef based on their risottos.
Yeah.
Okay. No
Risotti.
heavy
I'm sorry.
cream or no?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
No heavy cream.
No heavy cream. Okay.
Yeah, unless I'm making it. But no, I'm just kidding. No heavy cream. We don't add your grana padano or whatever, your Parmesan to it. We leave that for the guests. Okay. They're very authentic in that way, like how you would get it there. When I actually accepted the job, I went to Italy for a couple of weeks after starting just to
Very
get
cool.
it. Yeah, check out Northern Italy and what they're doing over there.
Did
So
you like stage or anything over there, or just kind of go experience?
no, kind of went just an experiment.
Go and eat, man.
Go and eat,
experience. Yeah, go and eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Who's going to go stage? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's somebody, but
No, actually, I met a guy in the airport that was there staging, but
that takes sure. Yeah, please. That takes that's the guy who's on his
Yeah.
way up there. He's
yeah, I got a
eager to
family. I
learn.
can't work for free anymore. So
Yeah, no. Like I'm in those shoes too. But
Is
no.
bad form?
No,
Might be a
that-
bad form.
No, that's beautiful. That you
Okay.
can take it.
Okay.
Yeah. Finished off the dickle here. Thank you, Kelly
Ayo.
Hudson.
Yeah.
So, Italian restaurant in the hotel. Have you gotten a chance to get out to any of the Italian spots here in Austin?
I have. My wife and I went to a concert not too long ago, Austin City Limits, and I forget the name of it, but it was right across from or right next door to that. What is
Trace.
You've got
Trace is right
Austin's-
there by in the W.
that? It wasn't.
City Limits.
It's next door to the
Yeah,
W.
City
yeah.
Limits. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Austin City Limits.
Yeah.
Taverna.
Yeah.
Taverna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Portions were a little large and stuff, but yeah, it was good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but no Red Ash ever. No OP Italian. Any of those
I
places?
have not been. No.
I tried to get a reservation at Red Ash for my team during Christmas and couldn't get in.
Yeah.
All the perks of being in the hotel business, I guess. We went to Swift's Attic instead, which was pretty great. So
Swift's Attic.
Yeah.
Good crew. They just had a fire.
we knew it actually. I sent it to the team. I was like, I'm glad we got in when we did.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. And they just
but they
reopened.
rebuilt. Yeah,
They
so
reopened.
it's great for them.
And the guys, their insurance took care of all the guys.
Good.
And
That's a great spot, man.
It's a great spot.
Not just the food, but I love the little creativity with the drinks where they put that kind of ball of ingredients in ice, and then they pour your drink, pour your bourbon over it, and let it melt. And kind
Sure.
of keeps changing.
Very random fact here, but if you look for any podcasts from Austin, you will find one single podcast on a chef who was at Swift's Attic, who was also on Chopped.
Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting, but that's the one and only podcast that was released from that company, or whoever it was.
Kind of be a damn good podcast, I hope.
Yeah, he must have been on Chopped or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I worked with two guys that were on there. One of them was Shea Fitzgerald, African American guy with the big gauges.
Yeah.
And then Fabian Ludwig, who's exec chef in a very popular hotel chain in Colorado now. But he cut his finger in like the first 30 seconds
no.
of the show and
that's-
was kicked off.
Got to be the
I-
most embarrassing.
Yeah, everybody signed up for the casting call, and I ended up having to stay behind and cover others. But
Chopped is still going, is
it is.
Is it really still strong?
Among other things.
believe
I
it
mean,
is.
there's so many.
There
Like,
are so
it's-
many now. It's a bit saturated, just like the word boutique gets
Yeah,
thrown around a
yeah.
lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's.
But it's
every-
like any the travel shows and your cooking shows. Once something catches on, then it's just going to get saturated. But then you still pick out the gems. I mean, we're
It's
talking
true.
about
It's true.
just keeping it on with food. The Bourdain series, one of a kind, and God
One of
rest
a
him.
kind,
But
yeah.
but then even with Travel Channel, you had off that the Samantha Brown was probably beforehand, but Alton Brown, Samantha Brown, and then the
for him.
what's that?
I said I cooked for Alton Brown
Was he nice?
when I opened up the Tobin Center. Yeah, he was really cool.
Oh, good.
Awesome dude.
I
Yeah.
learned how to brine by looking at one of his recipes.
That's cool too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
From like YouTube or
Yeah, it was just a quick. I was brining my Thanksgiving turkey, 5 years ago or whatever it was, and just kind of looked up one of his recipes. And,
Now you've got someone else. To
oh
call.
yeah, oh absolutely, yeah. I've asked Chef for tips on a lot of a bunch of stuff with regard to cooking steaks or cooking the fish and all that
Sure,
stuff too.
sure.
So, but yeah, the travel shows. I mean, some that I think are great that still catch on to that is I don't know if you've seen the Phil Rosenthal show on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil, and he
No.
goes to different places, and all he does it's primarily what any of us would want to do with our entire lives:
Yeah.
go to different places and eat, and be excited about eating.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Bourdain gets into a lot of the muck, the muck of the
He does.
culture and
He
society.
did, yeah.
And he's drinking the water in Africa, which is no good, and drinking himself to death with the terrible choice of words, but drinking himself like crazy with the Russians, Whereas Phil just goes and eats amazing food, and his eyes light up. He's the producer from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he loves to eat,
Yeah.
and so he's got a pizza oven in
I've
his
breezed
house. And
by that in my Netflix feed.
I highly recommend it.
I'll check it out.
Just
He's
for-
pretty
just-
good. He's got some awkward moments, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, and
Like,
just for the sheer joy of eating.
creepy stares.
Yeah, well, that's his eyes are so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, good though.
So coming back to, or I guess changing directions back to like the banquets and different cuisines and stuff, is there anything that you guys won't do?
No, if a guest requests something, we can absolutely do it. If they're requesting that we get like truffles directly from the mountainous regions of Italy or whatever,
They can pay for it. and we can
as
probably
long
do it.
as they're willing to take the charge, I mean, we can definitely do that.
Well, I was going to ask if you've had anything crazy like that. Has that happened?
That has not happened as of yet. I've had other properties where I have had to
Yeah.
do stuff like that.
We've had before Chef got there a party once where they flew in, I want to say a whole pig, for their holiday party.
Cool.
And we had to charge a delivery fee and all that stuff too, because
The pig was on
Yeah.
ice, right?
Yeah, clearly.
With the Puerto Rican background, that's something that I could do in a
Yeah,
heartbeat.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We can create a pit in the backyard too.
Yeah.
We can do it that way. But I would say I think the only thing that we're kind of restricted on is the kosher meals, because we can't. We're
Yeah,
not
and
in
that's
that.
definitely doable. as
But there are
well.
workarounds for that.
Yeah, there's companies that'll do it. If not, we can hire what's the Svitza or the rabbi to come and
I'm not even going to try a guess right
yeah to come and bless and stuff. One of my properties that I worked at, it was the Minneapolis Marriott City Center. We had a kosher kitchen and stuff, so I have experience with that as well. So
Interesting.
absolutely,
A lot of
and
experience.
a lot in New York as well. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And okay, so nothing crazy. Everything's been kind of subtle, normal.
Everything's been
request.
subtle and normal, but anything's possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said,
Maybe
we
we'll
don't
get something.
we don't say no. So
Cool. So, Chef Miguel, digging into your history a little bit, you are from San Antonio originally.
grew up in San Antonio. My dad was or is a doctor, but was a doctor in the military and ended up stationed in San Antonio. And yeah, originally they're both from Puerto Rico though. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was cooking like for you when you were younger?
when I was younger, my mom cooked everything from scratch. Also, again, they were Puerto Rican, so even if we had lasagna or spaghetti or something, she would put sazon and adobo and stuff like that into it.
Sure.
But yeah, she made everything from scratch. Her bread, desserts, everything.
The bread too.
Yeah, so it got.
They
it
don't
was-
make them like they used to.
No, and it was absolutely delicious. And it wasn't until my 30s. I'm 40 now.
Yeah.
But I would ask my mom for a recipe on like how she did her rice or bacalao or something like that.
Did
And
you?
she would refuse to give it to me because she didn't want me using it at work or anybody else getting the recipes.
Oh,
But
Wow.
gosh.
so for that section, it was trial and error. And I hate to say it, but I can cook better Puerto Rican food than she could now. But
Mom's still around,
mom is still around.
and
yeah.
she's still cooking for you.
And she does still cook, but she's losing her touch a little bit. She's 72.
She makes you do it.
Yeah, when I
Mom,
was
don't
growing
listen
up,
to this.
when I was growing up, we absolutely never had any type of microwave meals or TV dinners and stuff
That's-
like that.
I mean-
and it's depressing when you go home to visit and she's doing that
yeah,
because she's just cooking for one.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, she was a phenomenal cook.
But she crafted, you into a young man to
Absolutely.
become a chef now.
The
today.
gem that he
Absolutely.
is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Hey, yo.
So, but cooking for your mom was cooking. So, is that maybe the inspiration? Or was
That
it,
was some of the inspiration. I actually went to school when I was 19 years old for radio, TV, and film, and was doing something similar to this, and ended up partying a little bit too much and got kicked out of school. So my parents cut me off.
we're talking early 20s?
I was 19. I was 20 years old when I got kicked out.
Okay, so at that point in your life, cooking wasn't something
Always
on your
loved
radar.
it. Always talked with one of my buddies about opening up a restaurant one day. And then I was working at a gas station on graveyard shifts because my parents cut me off. I had to get a job and figure out what I was going to do.
That's that
and
tough
there was
love.
there was a chef that used to come in. His name was Gilbert Moore. He's actually out at Escondido right now. But yeah, he used to come in every night and buy a 6-pack of beer. And I asked him for a job, and he said yes, but he was kind of pulling my chain. So I chased him down for about a 2-week period at the River Center Marriott in San Antonio. And he gave me the job, and they ended up starting me as the saucier, and back then it was JW Steakhouse. And it was the hardest position in the kitchen because he thought that I would just
Quit.
buck up and leave.
Sure.
That, and even though I'm Hispanic, I was the only white guy in the kitchen, kind of.
Yeah.
So it was difficult at first, but I ended up excelling and passed up all the guys that would give me a hard time, and was promoted within my first year to a supervisor position. And then when I was, 26, I was there for 7 years.
So Mom and Chef Gilbert kicked you into gear.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool.
I got into it totally on accident and just ended up doing really well. So I was there for 7 years, and then I got my first sous chef job at the View Kitchen in the Marriott Marquis in New York. And yeah, it was awesome. I got that job. I was not ready for that job. I thought I was the shit.
Yeah. Still pretty young. What, 27? You're saying?
I was 27 or 28, yeah,
Okay.
something like that. And
Yeah.
when we're young, we always think that we're the best thing in the world. And
Well,
then
we were talking about that a little bit. Guys
Yeah.
get out of, CIA, all
Yeah.
all ready to go undercover. They take out
Yeah.
the executive position, and
Thanks for
they're-
picking up on that, man.
right.
Yeah.
And then they're in over their head. You
Yeah.
know? And then
And I
they,
had to
they
learn
don't
very
have an
quickly.
opportunity to learn. They
Yeah.
accept money without experience, and that's never a good path.
Yeah, I went from doing 80 to 100 people a night in covers on a la carte to 750 on a regular night. And it was, you didn't know whether to stab somebody or cry.
So during that time, did you kind of question cooking, or did you kind of see that maybe this wasn't
No,
the
by that
position?
time I was pretty confident.
You were in
yeah, I was pretty confident in stuff. Not cocky. I've never been cocky. I don't think that anybody's better than anybody else, but
Ray, is this true?
This is absolutely true. I can attest to that, and I would call him out if he was wrong.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry,
the,
Chef.
the chefs that they had previously were kind of, I guess, a little bit moodier.
Oh, at the
Rambo.
Grand
Let's
Duke.
not speak ill of the dead, but I would say that
I don't know those guys, so
Nah, Chef.
They're not around for a reason.
Right. Chef Miguel has been, like I said, the best combination of, just great with the staff, great with his staff,
Yeah.
and great with our guests, and just the overall culinary prowess. Like his food is really damn good.
Yeah.
Like it's really good, and
That's definitely the key, right?
And that's the thing is that we had consistency issues for so many years. For a couple of years, just because of turnover or what have you, and training. But I'm not afraid, and neither is my team now, to bring guests to the restaurant. We have to sell
or tell
this
me if
product.
something's wrong. A lot of
Yeah.
chefs can't take that.
Right. But we have to sell this product, and it's important that we showcase the product in the right light. And I mean, we had a client event for some of our top clients a couple months ago, and Chef put out an amazing spread. Just a full grill with the lamb, and then the Brussels sprouts on skewers, and then he started showing off the empanadas and all that other stuff. And it's great. We want to showcase our banquet food in the best light, right? And it's variety. The Cuban sandwiches, man, were just outstanding.
Not only that, but to open it up a little bit also. Like the other chefs that were there were Italian chefs, and that's great. And I'm an
But the
Italian chef also.
versatility is
Yeah, you got to
limited.
be open with the type of industry that we're in and that type of
and the city
product.
that we're in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, again, going back to the Chef Reese from the Hyatt,
Sure.
the restaurant's a lot of times an amenity, but it has to be a good amenity.
Yeah.
And we also
Absolutely.
want to make money with our restaurant. And how do we do that? We have to appeal to a broader base.
Yeah.
Initially, with the Italian menu was amazing, but people couldn't read it, and they didn't understand what things
They didn't
were.
know what they were ordering.
And-
And like, you also have to get some of the regional aspect in it also. I mean, we're in Texas, so we
Yep.
have a 28-ounce ribeye that we do with Italian salsa. I'm sorry, Italian style salsa verde.
Yeah, okay. Very fitting, right,
yeah.
for
Yeah.
Texas.
So you got that huge piece of Texas steak, but you also have the Italian flavors that are appropriate for that. So you have
And there's a way to compromise so that
yeah.
you can not one size fits all. That's not what a restaurant loses their identity if they try to do that.
Sure.
But you have to kind of try to accommodate the palate of Austin. I
Absolutely.
always say there's billionaires in flip flops and t-shirts that walk through our restaurant all the time, and they don't need to have full white glove service. They just want good food. They'll
Yeah.
pay for good
Exactly.
food.
This is, I mean, it may be more prominent in other places now, but especially Austin.
Yeah.
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 And in our bar also we get to play around with more regional items as well. It's not like we're going to have to serve veal only like in that area.
So, real quick, I just want to point out that it sounds like the Hotel Granduca went through a little I don't want to say turmoil. I'm not
Growing
going to.
pains.
There was
Growing pains.
growing pains, no
But it
turmoil.
sounds like
it's
you
always
guys-
been a good product.
So growing pains.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to find out. You have to find out who you are in the market, right? And when you start dictating to the market doesn't listen if you're dictating too aggressively, right? And so you have to take a step back, see where you are, and reassess, and make sure you have the right people in play, and make sure you have the right product in play. The hotel product of our property is second to none.
Yeah.
We have some of the largest rooms in the city, and starting with our standard rooms. You know,
And the view has got to be
yes,
just
absolutely.
phenomenal.
We start
Yeah,
at
it is.
480 square feet for a room. The views of the hills, you know, the views of Austin are starting to diminish a little bit when you're in the downtown area.
Yeah.
It's not unlike New York when I was working and somebody wanted a room with a view. I said, well, then you have to go to Brooklyn or Jersey because you're not going to get a view of Manhattan in Manhattan. And that's what's starting to happen downtown.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you can look, you know, our top level, our 9th floor, looking to downtown, you can see the Capitol building. You can see the UT Tower when it lights up from our penthouse. It's amazing views.
Yeah, and it really is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen that exact view, but Austin is gorgeous.
Yeah, and I mean, people don't understand it. They think, you know, when I was moving to Texas, oh, you're moving to Texas. What about the tumbleweeds and the? I was like, guys,
cowboy hats.
yeah, this is Austin, man. It's a different environment. You know, we have
Definitely.
the rolling hills leading into the hill country. Like it's an
Right.
amazing. You get to see with our hotel kind of the best of Austin because you're close enough to all the hot spots in the downtown, and you get to come to us, have an amazing view, see where you're going, and then go out to the lake the next day.
Yeah,
you're kind of equidistant.
This point you're making is it can't be, you know, you gotta, if you're in Austin for long enough, you don't want to be downtown all day every
Right.
day. And
Yeah.
even if you're visiting, you will give someone the best experience probably in your location.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful area of Austin, and you get a good taste of it without like all the rambunctiousness of like 6th Street
Right.
or
Or
stuff like
you
that.
can go
Or
down
trying to
there
find parking on
for
Congress.
that and
Yeah.
escape it.
And yeah, and come to
Exactly.
the hotel. But then the next day, you can go out to Lakeway and rent a boat for a little while, rent a jet ski, and
Yeah.
go out that way. You know, I'm lucky that not lucky that I'm not originally from here, but I'm not originally from here, and I have people that come to visit me, and I get to treat them kind of in that full embrace of what Austin is.
Lovely, right?
Yeah, and
Right.
so you can go to, you know, look, there's a reason Salt Lake is always busy down in Driftwood. It's a great product, but it's not downtown.
Right.
You know, but it's a great product with a great, you know, the kitsch of the of seeing the fire pits and everything. My family loves that stuff, and the
Yes.
food is good,
Yeah.
right?
We've talked about Salt Lake.
Oh, I'm sure ad nauseum. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But there's a reason people go there. There's
It's
a reason
the whole
it's busy.
experience.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it's not just an Applebee's on the
County Line
corner.
has.
This is good food that is indicative of this area.
It
It's
makes
not
you
that-
wonder how
yeah.
an Applebee's would do next to that Salt Lake.
Oh, I would love to see how an Applebee's do next to that Salt Lake.
French onion soup in there.
Yeah. Also understanding our guests and knowing who's coming in or out. The previous gents that were in my position refused to have a hamburger on the dinner menu. We got to remember we're also still a boutique hotel.
You
I mean,
see
somebody
growing
comes in off the
pains.
plane and you just want a
burger.
hamburger. You might not be in the mood for Italian food. So we have some of those options as well that are good quality. I mean, it's a half-pound awesome hamburger.
Yeah,
and-
tell me. I was going to say real quick. You guys found your stride though. With
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
owners, you guys
Yeah.
found something that's really working.
Absolutely. I knew what I was getting into going into it, and I knew what was missing.
Well, that's great. But back to this burger, because I love burgers.
Yeah.
We had a chef from Dean's One Trick Pony. I don't know if you've followed up with them at all, but we're known for a burger, and then they just kind of revised their menu, and they kind of like just rolled with it. They said, hey, we're known for the burger. Let's introduce a couple new burgers. So they've got 3 burgers on their menu now.
Oh,
but
very
burgers are, I don't know, everybody's a fan of a burger. So tell us about the burger.
We just
Yeah,
have
man.
one hamburger, but it has the oven roasted tomatoes that are done with a little bit of garlic and then basil aioli.
Nice.
And like I said, it's a half-pound hamburger. I mean, phenomenal brioche bun.
Cheese on there?
Yes, cheddar cheese. No, not cheddar cheese.
Chef.
I'm sorry, Fontina cheese. I apologize.
Sounds lovely.
No,
It's
and I mean, it's
the water I'm drinking.
Yeah, there you go. It's one of those places that you, like many of the places here in Austin, you don't expect to find a burger on the menu and have it be great, but good food's good food.
Yeah, and the appetizers are also awesome. Also, like in the bar, the artichokes.
Oh,
I mean, people.
love the
I had one person write back that the artichokes weren't fresh, but we have actual like imported Roman style artichokes. Phenomenal.
I always, whenever I have a client and there are no restrictions as far as food, I always get the artichokes to start us off.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So, seasonal ingredient. Are you guys sourcing anything locally?
We do. A lot of the stuff that we get, produce-wise and stuff, we get from Fresh Point. Gary Ross was my rep at a couple of other properties.
Okay, so you guys have a relationship.
Yeah, there's 2 golf clubs in the Horseshoe Bay area that I worked for that I used him. And then I think also in San Antonio. But, yeah, a lot of our products we get from them. But, yeah, local products, and then our imported products we get from Gaucho. Being an Italian hotel, we have to stay true to that. So our prosciuttos and our bresaola and salamis and pepperonis and stuff are not domestic.
What about like pastas? Any of that stuff?
Pastas, we make a lot of them in-house.
What about the actual, like the actual making of the pasta? Is that sourced here or from Italy?
The actual making of the pasta, the flours and everything,
Yes.
the flours, the semolina, all that stuff is sourced from Italy, which we get through Gaucho.
Cool.
And then we make it there on property. Nice. And then, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's a great place to lose your train of thought because
if
that's,
you could delete
that's
that
great.
one.
I mean,
but yeah, the ingredients that we get, like even the flours and stuff, are sourced from Italy.
oh wow, that's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, so we have to stay true to stuff like that. Our olives, Calibri peppers, all that stuff. And then the stuff that we need fresh, we get from Fresh Point and utilize those things. Things like celery root, purple cauliflower, junk like that.
Sure. So is the menu kind of rotating seasonally with
Absolutely.
ingredients?
Absolutely. We don't go more than 3 to 6 months without changing the menu.
And is it a full flip, or do you have like kind of things that
it is a
need
full
to stay
flip?
there?
Things like the ribeye are staple because of guest requests, and like I said, we have a lot of local following as well, so we have to keep those items on.
Right.
But yes, so in this month, I'm actually making the new winter menu, or fall and winter. So by end of September or beginning of October, we'll bang that one out. So
Okay.
and it's
do you
a
write
cost-
this yourself? Input?
I write it to myself, but I always take everybody's input. One of the benefits that I had as a young chef is that my executive chef, Donald Hoffman, when I was growing up, so to say, would ask everybody if they had any ideas. And a lot of times people are too shy to come forward with that. But those young chefs that are pretty eager will take that step forward and submit the recipes.
Right, the students, right? You're giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, great kids, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I started announcing that about a week or two ago, that we're going to be doing a new menu, and it should roll out in September, October, to bring your ideas to the table. And I do not take credit for the items that they put on there. I mean, credit's due where it's due.
Very cool.
And I grew up with an environment like that, so I like to give that to my guys as well. And I've worked for people before in the past where what I say is what I say, and even if it's your idea, it's mine. I will not do that to somebody.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, when you mentioned like the ribeye standard on the menu, because locals, and you also mentioned the artichokes maybe getting, somebody thought they weren't fresh.
Yeah.
Do you guys get?
They're preserved in sunflower oil, but they're actually imported as well. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you guys get feedback, or I guess I don't want to. I mean, like reviewed
every day.
And do you take criticism, or even
absolutely.
yourself?
We have to in order to learn stuff. So part of our salaries are based on those reviews, or based on that feedback.
We have, obviously we have the internal feedback system, which you'll always get when you go to a hotel. You know, what is your, how did you feel about your arrival, your departures, or anybody you wanted to mention? But then, Yelp, TripAdvisor, all that stuff is just.
So like
that can be a kind
the artichokes. Yeah, the artichokes were. We own a restaurant. We can tell your artichokes weren't fresh. You're full of it. You didn't like them because of whatever reason.
Or you didn't want to pay for them.
Yeah.
And curious.
Yeah, our prices are they're decently priced. It's moderately priced. I mean, if you're going to go
competitive
out to eat,
within the area, though.
absolutely. We're cheaper than not cheaper. We're
less expensive.
Less expensive, and we're in line with the other people. Actually, we're lower than the other people within the area. Sure. I think the only people that are more cost efficient than us is like the W Hotel.
Yeah.
But whenever we do a new menu and stuff like that, and we're doing the pricing, there's some things like the ribeye. We take a loss on that. Mm-hmm. But we look at all our competitors, and we look at their menus and try and offer our clientele something that's in line with that and not exceeding what our competitors are doing. So
Right. When you get these kind of reviews, and just, as you guys as people, how do you guys take that kind of stuff? Because sometimes he said everyone's a critic. It can be tough when everybody has like a platform to just say whatever they want.
Behind the scenes, we'll say whatever we're going to say or be upset, but with the guests, we respond to every single response that they give us.
And you can't say to somebody, look, we can agree as professionals that customers always right is a great philosophy, but sometimes what they have going on in their life will influence what you're doing for them.
You can't please everybody, but you try to.
But you have to be gracious in those situations.
Exactly.
And I don't want to. I'm not asking about this because there's all kinds of negative reviews.
No,
I'm just curious. You guys are great people. Chef Miguel here is leading the. I mean, you guys have a great thing going on.
Yeah, I'll respond personally to every single feedback that we get with my personal cell phone number, so they can let me know when they are coming back to the property, so I can personally do their meal for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
but there's some folks that'll blast you on like TripAdvisor or something like that we're not necessarily associated
and then
with.
they'll disappear.
And you try to get a hold of them to correct the issue, and it's not possible because they're using.
So you could respond on the platform, but you have to respond graciously. Like we're still a business. We need to understand that feedback is important, but we also understand that sometimes the guest experience might not have anything to do with us.
Right.
And that's
100%.
Yeah,
That's
and that's unfortunate, right? But look, you think about travel. Think about business travel. You're leaving your family. You're coming to a hotel for 2 to 3 days for business meetings you don't want to be in. And you can't, your burger comes out medium well instead of medium.
Yeah.
And that could send somebody into a tizzy, and then everything's wrong.
Right?
Or
Somebody's true. Upset that there's too many people at the pool, and then there was parsley on their eggs during breakfast on the buffet. Or people get the buffet and
it's just that one thing that says.
Yeah, they're not expecting to pay for it. They think it's like the Red Roof Inn where it's included with your thing, but I'm not using
Red Roof Inn does not include breakfast.
What do you guys use for
Not Red Roof Inn, but we use
Sorry, random.
They use those other competitors that have the free breakfast and stuff use like a powder form of egg or something like that. We use organic free range eggs and all that stuff. So we we do use the best products possible.
Yeah.
But some folks
it's expectations.
Some folks suppress.
It's all expectations based on what people have going on in their life versus what is actually happening. But what we have going on as a business, the guest does not care about that, right? The guest experience their experience is the most important experience to them, obviously, right? And so we have to roll with that. We have to cater to that one way or another. Obviously, there's always exceptions, but when we're getting those off reviews or something like that happens, we get plenty of wonderful reviews. But if you get that offer, you have to really have to start a conversation with that.
And on occasion, some of those less than desirable reviews are sticker shock as well.
Yeah.
So if you're one time of the year that you're taking your family out of town for vacation and you're eating the breakfast buffet and you're paying $25 for that buffet.
Oh yeah, right.
But I stayed at the, I don't know who offers free breakfast.
Hampton Inn.
I stayed at the Hampton Inn last week, and I got the same breakfast for free. No, it's not
your
the
free
same
plug,
breakfast.
Right.
It's not the same breakfast. We've gone through the importation of the foods that we're offering and offering you organic or free-range chicken eggs and stuff like that. I guarantee you it's not the same thing that you're eating over there. But when they get that $25 a person for the buffet, when they could order a la carte.
Well, to your point, when I was working at Morgan's Hotel, we had a breakfast, a continental breakfast for guests that was included with a rate, which is unheard of in New York City for a boutique hotel.
Right.
Unheard of. People still complain because there wasn't enough meats or cheeses, and a lot of European guests are always used to that in their breakfast.
Yeah.
We had a great range of croissants, good coffee, fruit, yogurt. A free breakfast in New York City, that does not happen.
No,
but
it happens rarely anywhere, right?
But it usually happened with leisure travelers over the summer because either they obviously weren't from the area, but weren't from the country, and they're used to that rolled in. Again, it's all part of the expectations and the guest experience. You have to dig in to figure out why someone's upset, and then maybe you can get to the heart of it and just be human about it.
And ideally, we want everybody to be happy. I mean, those bad feedbacks and stuff like that are mainly from people that are as accustomed to traveling maybe or knowing if they're staying in a touristy area, that there's that price point. I mean,
Sure.
it's a hotel.
Yeah, no, and leaving your number, something like that is the best thing that you could possibly do.
Absolutely.
I mean, knowing that is just, yeah, I was just curious if there had been anything that you guys had heard that like made you say, oh, no, we should definitely change this, or, it's just kind of like a typical scenario, like good reviews.
I think in any business that you're going to have that is guest facing and customer related, you're going to get the good with the bad, and that goes for the greatest hotels and restaurants in the world.
Oh yeah,
And our phones are on 24/7, like on demand or whatever, so the guests can get a hold of us at any time if there is an issue. So
sure. Well, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
So you guys, when you guys get home, what are you guys doing? I guess
Today?
No.
Yeah.
Any day.
today, I on the way home before coming here, my wife's car battery ran out, so I stopped, bought a car battery, got home, made a seafood pozole.
That's what I was going to ask. What you
15 minutes, left it cooking, went upstairs, ran, took a shower, got dressed, turned off the soup because it was done, added cilantro to it at the end, and then started heading over here.
I came here from work. I'm starving, man. We're talking about food all day.
Yeah, I can't wait to get home and eat. It was phenomenal. I tasted it on the way.
Yeah,
out.
I actually cooked steak in cast iron a couple of days ago, and it's still one of my favorite ways to prepare. And I think I have some of that at home, so I might do that. And
it is the worst part of the podcast to talk about food.
No.
'Cause you get all hungry. Like
No,
the burger,
no. Yeah.
you start talking about the
there are
ingredients.
few things I love more than talking about food. The only thing I love more is eating food while talking about food.
Sure. Well, you guys are both at the Hotel Granduca, right? So that is, for starters, if you want to go eat somewhere,
Yes.
try this.
You
Visconti
should
restaurant.
definitely at least try it. If you have a date night or anything like that, and you want to impress your date, bring them by the Hotel Granduca.
And the view. What
call
happens
us.
when you get out, when you finish eating and you leave the restaurant? Where's your? Are
You
we
shouldn't
looking?
just leave the restaurant. You should go out to the patio, have a few drinks. You have the hills right there. We actually, in our hotel rates, we have a conservation fee because of the area that's around us. We have a natural habitat that's absolutely gorgeous.
See, yes.
There's
There's
only
something people need to
Yes, there are
go.
only 2 buildings on that 38 acres.
The 2 properties that are on the hotel are Apple
Yes.
Yeah.
and what else?
And us.
Oh,
And us.
just
That's
you
it.
two.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's it.
So Chef Tim, no, we don't know him personally. We
Okay.
do have some folks that work there during the morning and
Yeah.
work with us during
Sure.
the evening,
Sure.
and then some folks that work with us during the evening and them during the morning.
Yeah.
It's a
Because
good
Apple's the campus is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good-
obviously it's their smaller hardware division campus.
Yeah.
But they have the cafeteria in there and great benefits
Yeah.
to their employees.
It's a good neighbor to have. They come by for happy hour on Thursdays, and they're great.
We do a aperitivo, which is the Italian happy hour on Thursdays. So we do happy hour every night where there's $2 off Texas and Italian beers and $2 off house wine, $2.50 off drinks. And then we do our aperitivo on Thursday, where Chef puts out some light bites, some cheeses and
Yeah,
vegetables
so we
and
have
stuff like that.
authentic style aperitivo, just like you would in Italy. Bruschettas. We started doing hot appetizers like arancini and stuff like that. So
Very cool.
that's one of our busier nights. Also, they come have drinks and then stop by for dinner afterward.
Live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday. Awesome.
cool little jazz trio or a duet or
yeah.
something like that.
We try and
Very
change it
cool.
up every month or so. So
See, this is great. And the view.
Yeah.
I'll keep
Yeah.
coming back to
Well, I
because
think-
it's
Absolutely.
phenomenal.
Too, obviously, look, it's hot outside, right? And we have our little patio. But if you're going to eat inside or have a drink inside, go outside and just kind of take in the trees. It's amazing just
Yeah.
to be part of nature and have that kind of envelop you.
Yeah.
During the fall, during the spring, we have a fireplace lit in the outside veranda, which is absolutely gorgeous. Come out, have a cocktail with that.
Sure.
It it speaks to every season, but I think some of the best times to be there are certainly in the fall and the winter, and especially when it's decorated for Christmas.
yeah, and it's
December 3rd.
December 3rd, the holiday aperitivo tree lighting.
and it's only a few of our locals that actually utilize that area. It's a phenomenal area, beautiful.
Yeah, and just to speak to the tree lighting, it's Tuesday, December 3rd. It is a free community event.
Yeah,
And so
We'll,
Drinks,
I'll announce it
appetizers.
before it
Yeah.
comes up on here.
and, and I mean, we have drink specials at the bar. We've got some hot chocolate for the kids. There's probably a special guest or two showing up, giving
Huge.
out candy canes, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
huge food spread.
Yeah.
mulled wine.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it now. This will be our third year in this incarnation. We did it in 2015. We didn't in 2016, but this is our third year in this incarnation, and we're going to try and get the Westlake Madrigals back to sing, and then the big guy with the white beard should be around there too. So,
but get there early because the parking runs out, and then you have to walk a little ways up the hill.
It's a hill. It's a hike, but that's what makes the view again so wonderful.
Yeah, good for you.
When people are coming to a hotel, sometimes, of course, they have a wonderful restaurant to eat at, but they'll ask, and I'm not necessarily asking where is to eat around there.
Right
people
here.
will ask this, but where do you guys go eat? This is my.
I can talk about this all day. So you go ahead and
I also have a background. I had 2 sushi bars at different properties. I love Asian food. All right. So there's Shenzi over there on what is it?
It's off Mopac, right?
No, it's 290 and 71.
Okay.
Not 290 and 71. It's on 290. And where is that? Do you know where Detours is? Detours is a bar.
That's the Y.
That's by
by the Y.
313.
That's where I live. Yeah.
Oh,
VO 313 is great also for pizza, for thick crust pizza.
I love that. Love it. There's
super
the Hunt
good.
brothers. I'm
I'm
trying to get them to come on here.
Another phenomenal place for pizza, which is as close to New York as possible, is Yagi's.
Yagi's is good.
Yeah.
I like Yagi's. There is one
the
better.
one in Bee Caves, and then there's one for
Mr. Yagi in there. Have you met him?
Yes,
I
he's a very
haven't
nice
met
man.
him, but
He's very nice.
I try and get them at least once a week. My wife gets upset with me because pizza's not healthy for me. I'm already like 280, but
Chef, let me implore you.
I use my daughter to get the pizza.
Let me implore you to drive from Yagi's right by that HEB there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just maybe 4 miles down the road on the right. Jersey Giant Pizza.
No, I've tried that. Yagi's,
You don't like it?
No, Yagi's.
I will.
Is the bomb. Much better.
We're gonna have to fight, man.
Well, the cheese is different at Jersey Giants.
Yeah, the guy's from Jackson. He's from the town over from where I'm from. I love
fake
that
cheese.
How dare you?
No, it's pretty good.
Yagi's via 313, obviously. So any other places? You've got some. You say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi. How you doing?
Yeah.
Is this really?
I came in prepared to talk about food, my friend. So.
Well, tell me, where are some places in Austin that you just would recommend, especially if you're visiting from out of town?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I get family coming in all the time. I've pretty much been to every listed barbecue joint, right? With the exception of Franklin's, because with all due respect to Darren, I can't wait that long.
I know.
I can't.
Yeah.
If I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I can't wait that long.
That's my.
But I did go to Lauro with a friend of mine, so I kind of got an offshoot of that brisket, and it was absolutely dynamite.
Okay.
But I've been to La Barbecue, I've been to Lambert's, I've been to Cooper's, I've been to
Valentina's?
Terry Black's. What's that? Haven't been to Valentina's
Bill
yet.
Miller's.
That'll be next. Bill Miller's, haven't been there yet. I've been to Micklethwaite's, I've been to La Barbecue.
And how's the
Micklethwaite's has been, their beef rib is fantastic.
And Bill Muller's.
Bill Miller's.
How was that?
Yeah.
For Ray being originally from New York and New Jersey, you should try it. There was one by my house when I was growing up, and their barbecue sauce isn't sweet or anything like that. And it is a chain restaurant. But for people that grew up in San Antonio or in Austin, buy one. It's phenomenal. But you need to try it.
You understand when people come here, though, I have to.
But it is a chain restaurant, and I know that other chefs and stuff are going to be scoffing or rolling their eyes.
No, we've had guys
get bent.
praising Chick-fil-A. So.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. I know
My
the
daughter
recipe
loves Chick-fil-A.
also.
What are you going to do?
I mean, Pete Terry's is by Yagi's.
Pete Terry's. Hey, for a fast food burger, Pete Terry's is solid.
Pete Terry's should be everywhere.
I agree.
It's a shame it isn't.
I'd say Hat Creek and Pete Terry's kind of.
What about Dan's Burgers?
I have not tried Dan's Burgers yet. I've been to Huck's. I've been to all those places.
Fuddruckers. Fuddruckers is phenomenal.
Solid burger.
Super clean flavor. I've had them bad in some cities.
Yeah.
It is
you
a chain.
Keep throwing yourself under the bus.
Hey. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. No, but I had a roommate when I was in New York that worked for Chick-fil-A in, I think it was either San Antonio or McAllen. But yeah, he had the recipe for the chicken, so I can make that for you.
Boy. Good.
Yeah.
All the chicken, none of the hate. Good job.
Now you're going to get that request for the banquet of
we can do it. Just
you
don't
can do
call
it.
it by its name. And
Yeah. Copyright for sure.
Chick-fil-A.
But I mean, out by me too. We like to go to a little roadhouse
Cheesecake
called,
Factory.
How dare you? This place called Angels, which is right out on 71 in Spicewood.
Angels.
I've been there.
It's an old roadhouse. Great burgers, music, live music on the weekends. playground for the kids. We just let our daughter kind of run around and eat some great burgers.
That's
Good
nice.
service there too.
Yes, I mean solid all around. I mean, you pick your own seat, and kind of there's no wait for seats usually, especially if you're outside. And we usually tend to go on Friday nights, and great bands, a lot of local bands. My daughter can dance; it's fantastic.
That's very nice. How old's the daughter?
4.
4. Oh,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Mine's
Yeah,
5. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
And-
the one?
Yeah, just the one, just the
Okay,
one.
all right.
And out there too. I mean, we've been to Apis for for my wife's birthday, which was fantastic. And then right next door is the pizza.
Both
pizza
of
place.
those are pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
cool.
And then there's a steak joint out there called J5.
When
that-
I used to work in Horseshoe Bay and Escondido, I used to drive by that every day.
It's
and
really
I always wondered about
it's a
those.
solid. It's a neighborhood steak joint, meaning that the prices are not inflated, and the product's pretty good. It's a
Very
good
cool.
neighborhood joint. But I mean, that's over by me. But obviously, if I can get a chance to come downtown, I've been to for sales outings or what have you. We did food tours where we got to go to Soursop, the food truck by St. Elmo's, which has been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I heard good things.
And then where else? Let's see. Oh, I talked about up on me too. A good breakfast tacos, Willie's Barbecue, old institution out there too.
Don's Barbecue, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. I've heard. I've heard
Absolutely. It's just like I grew up in San Antonio, so
Yeah.
good breakfast tacos are hard to come by the further north you go, but off
they're-
the hook.
Understand
you guys
where
need
I'm
to go
from.
to Valentina's,
Yeah, no, that is
That's-
beyond on my list. Like I have a list
Yeah.
on my phone,
especially for breakfast.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's hard from where I'm at to get people all the way out here just for breakfast, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
when you have some decent options where you are, you could just make them, whatever.
Yeah.
Never the same when you make them yourself. But just coming down into my wife and I did Olame when she was about to have our baby, which
Biscuits?
Was, oh yeah, of course,
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
Go to Bangers all the time for for tourists and stuff.
I was going to ask you about Bangers because the
love
the
Bangers.
whole hog thing they're doing now.
I didn't know they were doing
Bangers
that.
is
Wow.
pretty good. My wife's our second or third date was at Bangers. I mean, it was casual and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, great.
So that was a while ago.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay, so you're
3 years ago,
You guys,
somewhere
you're
around there.
newlyweds, basically.
Yeah, last month we got married in Puerto Rico. So phenomenal woman.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bangers has changed quite a bit. You need to go.
Well, they expanded so
it's
much,
like
didn't they?
a compound.
I haven't been there
Yeah.
since they expanded.
If anyone's interested, I believe it's episode 8. Chef John Vasquez
Oh,
is
awesome.
the event chef over there. He came on and talked about it a little bit, but yeah, great owners. It's literally they own half.
Yeah,
of
they
Reagan
bought the
Street.
place next door or something, right? And they just
Yeah,
kind
and
of
if you
expanded
guys
it
go,
out.
Yeah.
I guarantee you won't be upset. It's
Oh, I believe
very
it.
cool.
I've never had a bad experience. At
No.
Bangers. Yeah.
Yeah, great food too. I've interviewed a couple of people that had left there or whatnot.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yeah, they make everything from scratch, and when they're talking about their day-to-day work environment of their previous place, I mean, really good.
Cool. Yeah. The owner's excellent. John had a little story about that. Working to death, and the owner just took care of all. He was moving at the same South by Southwest, moving locations. The owner said, "Don't even worry about it. Just work, and we've got all the moving taken care of. Just have a friend over there." And
But it's a great example of a place that does something and does it well. They do beers,
Yeah.
they do sausages, right? And
Right.
obviously, they have more on the menu, but like what they do and the variety of what they do, you can get something different every time and still be extremely satisfied. A chill experience. You don't. That's what I love about being in Austin is that you don't have to worry about what you're dressed like or who you're
very
bringing
true.
to
Yeah.
dinner. Dog friendly, kid friendly. It's such a great place to raise a family and eat well.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. The only place that I would go to aside from that's super, super good is Visconti.
Yeah, this guy knows.
there we go. And I thought you were going to say the owners for Bangers because the owners at Hotel Granduca are. So I think it really starts there.
You know,
It really, yes, it is a top down kind of. When you see the president of the company planting flowers,
Yeah.
4
It's
days
passion.
before you open,
Yeah.
that's a huge deal, man. We
Or
were
when-
passing chairs up from the parking garage all the way to the entrance, like just kind of a daisy chaining it all the way up.
Sure.
Yeah, or when you make something for them for like breakfast or lunch or whatever, because they come in and different guests or whatnot, and they seek you out like you're walking to the parking garage and they run behind you to say, "Hey, thank you for the dinner," or "Thank you for lunch." You don't get that very often. I've worked in a lot of big box hotels, like 2,000, 3,000 room hotels, and you don't get that even from your GM in the hotel. And they seek you out to say thank you, and they're very personable. They come by. say hi to each and every staff member, like on their arrival, in the middle, and before they leave. I mean, you don't get that very often. You get a lot of people that have that stature and are very pretentious or whatnot, have that separation, which doesn't exist for them, which is super cool. And one of the appeals that got me to accept this property or come to this property. I mean, even our VP and whatnot is there once every other week. Our GM is awesome also. Olivier Glatfelder is pretty good. So.
We were offline when we said this, but there is a property in Austin and
Houston.
In Houston.
Yes.
So Houston was the original property, and then in Austin they got to do their vision again and even better. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a larger property. So Houston has 122 rooms. We have 194.
Does Houston have a similar kind of like spectacular view?
Well, no, it's built.
I have said about 20 times today.
Well, hey, man, it's true. And
it is very
actually,
true.
I think Open Table we were Diner's Choice for best view.
Okay,
and so
okay,
that's pretty cool.
Then I'm not nuts.
So yeah,
twice.
Don't get nuts with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so, but with Houston, it's in the Uptown Park Galleria area. So Mr. Berlinghi developed a lot of that retail, a lot of those condos in that area. So it's not on top of a hillside, because are there hills in Houston? I don't know if there are.
Yeah.
And so we got them beat on views, but that's the mothership. That's the and that is
kind of
right, and that is also it's Houston culture versus Austin culture, and so you have to keep the same thread as far as the storyline. Service is a little bit different, clientele is a little bit different, much more international, and so you have to toe that line.
And the Houston property has been very successful as well. They have things like tea time and stuff like that. That when we initially opened, we tried that here, and definitely the Houston clientele goes after that more often than what our Austin clientele does. I mean,
obviously we had some interested, but not enough to necessitate it going.
Keeping it.
Yeah, exactly. Going day after day. When we're just talking about client profile, right? City client profile. It's different city to city.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
You have to remember, we're in Austin.
I mean, Austin and Houston are
very
different
cities.
Our local one percenters are a little bit more casual than they are in Houston. So.
Sure. So, I mean, I'm very glad you guys came on here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
The restaurant sounds amazing. The hotel sounds amazing. You, Chef Miguel, it sounds like have been like maybe the missing link, sort of.
I would like to think so. That and it's been a super awesome property to work with. I mean, I love my I don't know, job.
Well, I don't
want to say job because it's definitely more pleasurable than that. Like I said, when you come down to our VP, our ownership, our GM and stuff, everybody's very personable, and it's a really, really good fit. I mean, it's one of those places that you want to stay for 10 years. Like in a chef's life, we don't have that. You have 3 to 5 years, and then they want the newer best thing. But it's definitely an awesome place, and I mean, it's one of those places that you want to strive to make it even better than it already is. So,
and that's why. I mean, whether or not you're modest or not, that you've gone 20 years here to get to this point to where your staff is looking up to you and you're letting them make the menu. Which, how cool is that?
No, that's definitely
help. Make
well, I think the point is
Yeah.
to try to develop your people, right?
And-
I mean, you should want them to do well because they're going to help you.
And I'm giving back how I was brought up. I mean, I had awesome chefs starting for the past 20 years. Like, I mean, really, really good guys and I just try and do the same thing that they did for me. So
that's great, man. Because that's not always the experience. I mean, a lot of guys work for some real.
yeah, I've had those also.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
So 20 years, you've had a lot of people come through.
But how does that help anybody advance? You know what I mean?
doesn't.
And I think that's in any discipline.
And
whether it be
I've worked
culinary
for
or
people
otherwise.
that don't want that literally will hold people back, and it's horrible to say or think that actually happens, but there are people like that, and it's
because
fucked up to think.
ultimately people do that sometimes to make them look better. You have one person to shine you up when you're not doing what you should be doing, right? And I think that as bosses, as leaders, we need to make sure that we're developing the people that we have, or at the very least, if they don't want to, if they just want to stay in this job for a while until something else comes along, I understand that, but you have to try to develop and encourage, and
My goal
make
is
sure
to
they're
have-
valued.
My goal is to have my guys pass me up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've developed F&B directors, executive chefs, and stuff like that. I want somebody like nipping at my heels or wanting my job, not to the point where it's vindictive or they're trying to get you out of the way, but you always want them to succeed because that's another, I don't know, notch in your belt, so to say.
But at the same time, and I know I've heard it on podcasts of this past talking about the Austin market and the job market. You know, you have a 2.2% unemployment in the area.
Yeah.
Anybody can get any job they want, especially on the line level where we're talking about cooks or front desk. Or
And they are.
Yeah.
They're bouncing around.
But
too.
the point is to try to encourage
For
the
us,
people
it's
you
a
have.
little bit more difficult.
Yeah, you have to encourage the people that you have so they want to stay there. They want to stay with you. You know?
I think we're at kind of almost like a crossroads where a lot of the chefs, executive chef positions, that age, that demographic, were taught by people who may have been, rude or obnoxious in a sense. And now we're seeing a lot of people who are, working with more workable hours,
Right.
Yeah.
Things that are more approachable. And you, Chef Miguel, are like the perfect. This is where it should stop. Like where it's been honed into what you have.
Yeah, not only
your
that,
attitude
like
towards
you have
this.
to recognize people's ability as well. You have people that are qualified to be an executive chef, and they may be 25 or 24 years old. I mean, I've worked with guys when I went to New York. There was a guy named Michael Hawk. I'm not going to say Mike Hawk. This guy was phenomenal, man. I mean, he was 2 years younger than me, extremely talented, more talented than I was. But this is a guy that deserved a executive chef or executive sous chef position. You have to recognize that ability, not discriminate against somebody because of their age. If somebody's ready for it, they need to be able to obtain that. Whereas if you talk to somebody in their, mid-50s or whatnot, and you recommend somebody for a promotion or something, and those people are like, oh, no, the guy's too young. I've worked with a lot of 21-year-old, 40-year-olds. And if they deserve it, they deserve it. I mean, we shouldn't hold somebody back just because they're younger. A lot of times those guys have studied more or gone out of their way
there's
to
passion there
learn
too.
more. Yeah.
You know, that you
I had
become
a-
less jaded and you can actually have a vision that's not colored by, negativity.
I was an executive sous at the Horseshoe Bay Resort before I was pulled from Marriott, and I had a kid from the Philippines. There's a J1 visa. This kid had an Ebola book. This was back when molecular gastronomy was like the big thing. The kid got to borrow the book from somebody and had it for like a 2-week period. And I swear to you, he memorized at least half of the recipes just from borrowing it from this person. And that kid was a rock star, man. I mean,
impressive.
he deserved to be, his loyalty, his work ethic, his attention to detail, his production. The kid deserved to be a sous chef, but he never would have gotten that chance because of his age.
Yeah.
So I think now, in this day and age, we have to recognize people's abilities early on before we.
I think in this
I don't
town
know.
too.
Yeah, not only that, before we lose them to another profession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a person that age that's willing to work the 12, 14, 15-hour shifts, you got to give them that before they, not just give them it, but they've earned it.
Yeah.
Before we keep on losing people.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I know you guys, you have this menu here. Is there anything you guys want to talk about on the menu? Is this a new menu? Or
The
is this
menu,
current
no,
menu?
this is
This
the
is
current
the
menu.
spring,
The
summer menu.
The menu's
Okay.
about to change. I've just started on that. Definitely the ribeye is, I'm sorry.
You're all right.
The ribeye is absolutely off the hook if,
and that's a standard.
yeah.
Yeah, that's on the
And
dinner
if you
menu.
come
Local
in
request.
and I'm there and you want something else out of the ordinary, we can definitely do it. Or you can ask for one of the chefs and we'll definitely tweak it for you. The ribeye's off the hook. The bronzino is definitely amazing. But those are the two most popular. The chicken piccata and stuff is very traditional. Scallops and shrimp are a phenomenal dish. It's got a corn coulis that kind of ties in that Texas flair. So maybe that is one of the items that's not the 100% like Northern Italian.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, you should definitely come by and try it at least.
I'm sold. I have not been there to eat, but I have a couple buddies that occasionally will go out, and this is definitely on the bucket list there. And anyone listening needs to go. I mean, even just to walk in and look at the artwork.
Come by and have a drink.
But
Have a drink.
Mention the Austin All Day podcast, and you'll get 10% off your ticket.
That a boy, chef.
Yeah. Ray does it all the time to me, so I can do it to myself.
All right,
Very good, my friend. See, that's some solid marketing right there, my friend.
Chef Miguel, Ray, thank you guys for coming in. Anything you guys want to add?
I would just say, as far as social media, Instagram, we're at Hotel Granduca Austin and at Visconti Austin.
Okay.
It's VSICONTI AUSTIN.
Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook as well. And then granducaaustin.com. You can get all of your information from there. And yeah, come see us. We got a lot of good stuff going on.
Absolutely. And again, mention the Austin All Day podcast and get 10% off. But yeah, and you can Google us as well. You can Google me, or you can Google Ray. He's a good-looking guy.
Chef, are you on Instagram?
I am not on Instagram. I actually started it because I was going to start posting pictures and stuff, but then I was afraid about people stealing it. So
I'm on Instagram, but it's mostly
I
pictures of
actually
my
had
daughter.
Okay.
somebody recently steal my my mission statement from LinkedIn.
Oh, how nice. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a new young chef, but yeah, the only thing she left off was restaurant openings and resort openings and stuff like that. But no, absolutely, come by. I promise you won't be disappointed. And
True story. And we will, when December 3rd's coming up, I'll announce that a couple times.
Great, man.
And I'll be over there.
Yeah, come by, man.
Cool.
I'd love to have you out and have a drink, have some food.
Definitely.
Love to have you there.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Pleasure,
absolutely,
my friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.